My name is Leisha Maddox, Director of Student Success, and I have the pleasure of overseeing veteran programs here at LMU. Despite the challenging times we're all facing, 2020 also brings a year of celebration, for it marks the 10th anniversary of both veteran programs and the Student Veteran Organization at LMU. I want to acknowledge the creation of this particular office and student organization because of the vital roles they play in the lives of LMU student veterans, veteran dependents, staff, and faculty. I'm honored to serve the students who have served our country. This week is also Veteran Appreciation Week, held annually to show our LMU support and thanks to those who have served. The Veteran Programs Office works directly with student veterans to provide assistance so that they may transition successfully and thrive here at LMU. This is the 6th annual Veteran Appreciation Week, and in a virtual space, it is designed to showcase LMU's history and commitment to veterans, and to celebrate veterans' service to both our country and our university in a unique way. Supporting student veterans is a particularly meaningful part of the work I do at LMU. Those who have served our country bring unique perspectives from their experience in the U.S. military, and we are fortunate to have student veterans bring those experiences to the Black. Our student veterans chose LMU to continue their education, and their contributions to our campus community enriches us all. They are amongst the best and brightest. This week highlights and celebrates the legacy of veterans and their contributions to both LMU and the greater community. We also celebrate those in our LMU community who are military veterans, including alumni, faculty, and staff. Thank you all for your service. This week, we're going to reflect on the commitment LMU has made to the veteran community for many years. I invite you to join veteran programs in the Division of Student Affairs at Loyola Marymount University in showing our support and gratitude to our student veterans and all those who have and currently serve. Student veterans, thank you for choosing LMU and enriching our student community. Our veteran lions make us a stronger pride.
Veteran student programs. Wow, 10 years. Congratulations. It feels like just yesterday, Clay Hunt and Brittany Holland were in my office talking to me about veteran students and their needs. I think at the time they were coming to me because I worked for transfer programs, and many of our veterans were transfers. But they also talked to me about, some of our veterans had transitioned to civilian life years ago and were ready to come back and get their degrees. Others had quite literally just transitioned days, weeks into civilian life and even coming to campus to start school. Some of them were challenged with mental health. Some of them were challenged with getting their GI Bill and getting their benefits, or even registering for classes. There was also a need for community, to find other veterans on campus that they could connect it with and had a shared experience with. So together with Dr. Lainey Beauvais, Senior Vice President for Student Affairs, we agreed we needed to support our veteran students and start an office that could serve as kind of a one-stop shop for all of our veterans. We're proud of the work that we've done thus far in supporting our veterans, but we worked with a lot of offices, the registrar's office, financial aid, and alumni relations. We also knew it was important to bring back our alumni veterans, and together we put on the very first Veteran Appreciation Luncheon. And I can't tell you what a heartfelt event that was. Seeing our veteran lions come back, and in some cases our golden veteran lions come back to the event in their uniforms and sitting to share a meal with our current veteran students. I was grateful to be a small part of it, but really to be able to thank and pay homage to all of our Lion veteran students. The office has been an amazing support for our students, but it's also been a real advocacy area to help highlight our veteran students and make our campus aware of who they are and what they've done, not just for our country, but for our campus. I want to just pay a quick homage to Clay Hunt, who was critical in not only the office's foundation, but also in the Veteran Student Association. He was a fierce advocate for Veteran Student Association. He was a fierce advocate for veterans. He did amazing work, not just on our campus, but with Rubicon, who has served all kinds of communities across the world in crisis. He will forever be remembered and will forever be a Lion. I am so proud of the office, so proud to have been a small part of it. And I hope that we have many more years of this office and many, many, many more veterans coming through our gates and wearing the additional badge of being a Lion. Thank you and congratulations.
I'm Austin Dollans. I'm an international relations major. I'll be graduating this spring, and I'm also the president of the Student Veterans Organization. First, I would like to recognize and thank everyone for their help in putting this whole shindig together. Things are weird right now. The times are a little strange. So the extra effort to put this together and make things feel a little bit normal, it means a lot to me, and I'm sure it's appreciated by all. Speaking of this weird time, there was a joke going around in the military and veteran communities when lockdown and quarantine first started. And if you don't know, liberty or libo in the military means your ability to leave base. It's your weekends off. It's your time to yourself. And the joke was that now the whole world knows what it's like to have your liberty revoked. And it's true. That's exactly what it felt like. Can confirm. I'd like to preface this by saying I can only speak from the perspective of an infantry marine that never saw combat. So that's me. The military is much larger than most realize, with a wide variety of jobs and plenty of people that you would never see on a recruiting advertisement or on a poster or anything like that. I just so happen to be lucky enough to have a job that is very much the expectation of what the military is. I was an 0351 assaultman, which for those of you that don't speak Marine, that's the little green army man with a bazooka on his shoulder. My job was to shoot rockets at vehicles or tanks or whatever, and to also use demolitions to blow up doors, blow up wires, or anything else that needed to be blown up. And occasionally I was a human minesweeper, so that was fun. So very much what one might expect the military to be. When I set out to join the military, my goals were to travel, make lifelong friends, and to blow stuff up. And luckily, my father, he's a Marine as well. He explained to me that the Marine Corps infantry was perfect for that. And he was right, because I was able to succeed on all of those ambitions. As I mentioned, my father's was in the military, and I come from a family that is very familiar with the military. Third generation Marine on my dad's side, grandfather served in Korea, and then we've got relatives that go way back. My mom's side is very similar, long history of military service. So that's just kind of what we did in my family. It was very much the standard. And it was such a norm to me that when I came to LMU, I got to meet people who had never met or known anyone who had served. And it was weird. I kind of expected it, but at the same time when it actually happened, I was still kind of surprised. It was a good opportunity to talk about things though. And it kind of revealed to me that there is this general idea that I had mentioned about what the military is. They see the people jumping out of planes, the big guns, the big boats, and jets screaming overhead. And you don't often think of the service members that, they work in administration, they work in supply, they have very normal-ish jobs. And I can tell you, even being on the infantry side of things, it's far more hurry up and wait and hours of cleaning than it ever is guns blazing and bombs dropping. This image perpetuates the idea that we're all these tough guys and tough girls, and it's especially true with the Marine Corps. There's this idea that the Marines are the toughest. I hear that all the time. And we're the crayon eating killing machines and we don't deal with problems, we just blow them up. And to be fair, that is sometimes true. And outside of this context, it's I would definitely argue in favor of that. But all jokes aside, the toughness that people expect or know is only a fraction of the full picture. It's not the full understanding of what makes Marines and other service members tough. I feel lucky in the sense that I knew, relatively speaking, what I was getting into when I joined. A few months away from me leaving for boot camp, my dad told me that the only promise the Marine Corps makes you is that you'll have a pack, a rifle, and a hole to sleep in. And it wasn't until I was in that hole, with that pack and with that rifle, in the rain, that I started to understand what he was talking about. The toughness we possess is often less about fistfights and more about dealing with hardships. Are we mentally tough enough to deal with the rain, being separated from family, and still carry out the mission? I read a lot of books in the Marine Corps, mostly about Marine Corps history or Navy SEALs. And one of the books has always stuck with me. I can't remember the author, and unfortunately the title escapes me, but I believe it was Lone Survivor by Marcus Luttrell. And the story goes that during BUDS, which is the first part of SEAL training, one of the recruits said that he was going to quit. And another recruit asked him, well, when are you going to quit? And he said, about 15 minutes. That 15 minutes came and went. They asked him again, hey, you said you quit. Are you going to quit? And he said, give me another 15 minutes. He kept doing this over and over and over until he graduated. That blows my mind that you can take something but literally in such a small increment. But he couldn't deal with thinking of the weeks ahead of training or the months that were going to come after BUDS. He just could only focus on the first 15 minutes ahead of him. And eventually the next 15. And eventually the next 15. Because that 15 minutes was doable, and eventually those other 15-minute increments were too. This resilience is the essence, I think, of what makes us, not just military members, but people. Those in the Frozen Chosen during the Korean War, when they were surrounded on all sides by North Korean and Chinese forces, it wasn't just being tough that carried them through. It was the resilience to just take one more step south. It wasn't John Basilon's toughness that allowed him to hold his position in Guadalcanal against overwhelming Japanese forces. It was perseverance to get one more belt of ammo and just keep firing. And it's not toughness that allows you to write the last few pages of an essay, especially the final essays. It's the fortitude to write just one more paragraph. A 15-kilometer hike is a long way to walk, but if you can make it 100 more yards, that's doable. I've been asked, what's the thing that is most applicable to college that I had learned in the Marine Corps? And I always answered that the application of resiliency has made all the difference. There have been plenty of times when I'm in the middle of a reading assignment or I'm writing a paper, and I think to myself, I would rather spend a whole week in the field than have to write one more word or read one more page. But it's the very same mentality that pushed me and so many others to carry on in the military. That's what I think of when school's tough. Doing multiple years of schooling or even a full semester, That seems so daunting, but taking it week by week or assignment by assignment, that's doable. That, and my first sergeant told me that me and my friends would never make it in the civilian world, and I'll be damned if he's gonna be right. As everyone is aware, we're currently living in an interesting time, to say the least. Though the times we live in aren't necessarily new, pandemics have come and gone, and political division isn't anything revolutionary, it is a historical time, I think. And I think it'll be remembered, both domestically and internationally. Everything is so overwhelming right now. Doesn't seem like there's any time to catch a breath. And I stop and I wonder sometimes, how will we be remembered? Will we be remembered as fearful of each other, fearful of the world in which we exist? Or will we be remembered as resilient, like those in Bella Wood or Quezon or Okinawa? Will we be those that rose to these challenging times, facing them together, making it another month or another year or to the next election may seem daunting? I've heard a lot in the past few months about the new normal, that this is a time, an opportunity to reshape our future. And admittedly, at heart, I am skeptical of such grand illusions. There is opportunity for each individual to learn how tough and resilient they really are. If we can look to the past, see the resiliency of those prior to us, and look to each other and see each other's resiliency, then we might just have a shot at becoming better than what we were. Even if that means that we take it week by week, day by day, or even 15 minutes by 15 minutes. We can, in fact, make a difference. To be remembered as people that endured. To end, I'll leave with a quote from Walter Elliott, who said, "Perseverance is not a long race, it is many short races, one after another." I hope for whatever the future holds for us, that this perseverance comes to define us. Thank you. Please be safe and take care of each other.
Hello everyone, my name is Gabriella Rivera and I'm the Assistant Director for Student Success, and I help to oversee veteran programs. Although Veteran Appreciation Week looks very different this year, we are glad that we managed to still find a way to highlight and connect with our veteran community. As we near the end of our program, we encourage you all to explore the virtual exhibit page on our LMU website to learn more about veteran programs, veteran resources, the SVO, our LMU student veterans, and about their commitment to both their country and to the university. Please feel free to share the link to our page as it is public for all to see. I would like to give a big thank you to Alicia Maddox, the Director of Student Success, our Marketing and Communications Manager, Ashley Scott, the Dean of Students, Dr. Terry Mangione, Austin Dollans, Roman Broussard, and Jamie Albright for their commitment to making this week a success, our participating student veterans, and to all the members of the LMU community for sharing their stories and words of appreciation with us. Please feel free to reach out to our department if you have any questions. We would be more than happy to hear from you. Please be safe, be well, and happy Veteran Appreciation Week.